Okay, so some questions you might have about cart training. Why did I teach it? We live in a rural area, and so we're outside of a main city. And out here, because of the winters, a lot of homes, especially a lot of older homes, have wood stoves as their main source of heat. So it's really, we do have a propane heater, but it's not as effective when it's really cold out, and it's not great at warming the whole house. And propane is really expensive. So we rely on wood heat from usually October until March, sometimes April if it's a really weird cold year, but usually until March. And bringing firewood into the house, it's usually about 80 to 100 pounds of firewood that needs to be brought into the house for just one day, or 1.5 days. And that's a lot of firewood. So when we first started living out here, I would have to sometimes bring firewood into the house if my husband was recovering from being sick or having some sort of surgery, or I'd have to call my in-laws to come bring firewood into the house, or Adam would have to just make sure that he always brought in the right amount of firewood. And it's easy to predict that, but there's also days where it gets just insanely cold and we're not prepared for how fast the wood burns through. I like feeling useful, and it's very hard to feel useful when you have a disability. It's very hard to feel like you're not a burden on people. And I love hard work. I love being on a farm. I love working hard, even if it hurts. I call them worthwhile pain flares. And it sounded like something we could possibly do with Robbie. And initially we started out using the wrong harness and the wrong type of drag, but he did it and he loved doing it. And so we did a little bit more research into dogs pulling carts, found the right harness, built the right type of delivery device, and then I figured out how to train it, morphing together my knowledge of how cart horses are trained, along with my research on how dogs in carts are trained. And so this task is not by traditional definitions of I rely on this to function. It's not a necessary task. It's not the same as him helping me put my pants on so I don't fall over and get a concussion. But given our way of life, given our lifestyle, and given the things that give me a better quality of life, it is a worthwhile task for them to know. And outside of task training, it is an amazing exercise for draining energy, building mental stamina, building physical stamina, building muscle all over the body, teaching a lot of precision work, a lot of thinking on the go. And Robbie loved it, and Austin loves pulling. So our instinct is that he's going to love it as well, and that it's quickly going to become one of his favorite things to do. Where did we get the cart? My husband built it. There are carts you can buy online, but he didn't really like the design, and we wanted to be absolutely sure that it would fit in our house, so he built this one. The cart is its own added weight, so when we start training to pull the cart, we're not going to add any extra weight like firewood or bricks into the cart, because the cart is its own heavy thing. If you're going to do cart training, you need to have access to some place with flat, open ground. We're going to do it at a friend's house who has an outdoor riding arena for their horses. Lots of flat space. Very few obstacles. We can set up our own obstacles for turn training, but it's a wide open space where he can learn to make circles. Initially, the circles start out being like 30 or 50 feet sized circles. The smallest circle they can do is about 10 feet. Is it hard for me? It's definitely draining for me because I still have to be the one that picks up the bricks or picks up the firewood and puts it in the cart. But it's really good muscle building for me and stamina building or stamina maintaining for me. And it fuels my heart. It gives me joy. And so that's really good for my mind. Doing it with a dog is a lot more, pulling firewood into the house with a dog is a lot more circuitous and slightly ridiculous feeling than a person bringing in the firewood. But that's also kind of how all tasks with dogs are, is that it's not the way a person would do it, and that's okay. It's still worthwhile to teach. It's something that they really seem to enjoy. I will give you guys the link to where I buy the harness. I cannot pronounce it. But they're where we got our first harness, and they're very reliable, very dependable, and they make really good quality gear. If Robbie's harness fit Austin, we would absolutely still be using Robbie's harness 6 years later. It's just that Austin is 20% bigger and he's shaped a little differently than Robbie was. So that's why we had to get a different harness. Okay, I think that's everything I have for today. Thank you for watching.